There is an amazing story this week out of San Francisco. You probably saw it, but I don't know if you've taken stock of really how amazing it is. You know that San Francisco is the left of the left. If you go left from San Francisco, you fall into the Pacific Ocean and you're just swept away into some gigantic morass of leftism. That's 6% Republicans in San Francisco. That's absolutely true. 6% Republicans. They just recalled 3 school board members for being too woke. Now, part of that wokeness was they shut down the schools and they wouldn't open the schools. It was worse than that. They not only wouldn't open the schools at all, Joe Biden was asking them to, the mayor was asking them to, and they wouldn't open them. And then Gavin Newsom, the governor, said, well, I'll give you like $12 million if you'll reopen the schools. So they opened them for a single day. The single day they reopened them to get the money. And they took the money and they didn't reopen them. And meanwhile, while they're doing that, they're having discussions on maybe we should rename our schools. Maybe we should, Abraham Lincoln really, they actually said this, he didn't really do enough to end segregation. I mean, here's a man who took a bullet to the brain to make this a better country and a more equal country. And what did these people, this is what gets me about all these people who tear down statues. What have they ever done for anybody? What have they ever done for this country besides tear down the statues of better men than themselves? And so that's what they're talking about. And the parents are saying, our school people, our children are not being educated. Even the mayor, and of course the mayor, she's the mayor of San Francisco. She is not a right-winger. She was saying they've got to open up.
Unfortunately, the failure to educate our kids properly throughout this pandemic is, I think, what many parents were frustrated over, and seeing their children go from these, talkative, robust personalities to all of a sudden, quiet and uncomfortable and just different has been really, I think, a breaking point for a lot of families in San Francisco.
So it's a really important point. It was what these parents were seeing from their children that made them think, you guys are doing something wrong. You've done something wrong. You've closed these schools. You're not taking care of our kids. And the kids and parents who have seen, remember, this earthquake, this is a little earthquake. This is a San Francisco earthquake. But remember, it happened in Virginia. This is why Youngkin did so well in Virginia. Part of why he did it, because he took the parents' part. It's happening in Arizona. They're voting on that now. It's just a movement that is going on across this country. And the response from the teachers, especially the woke teachers, has been genuinely insane. The response has been, you have no right as parents to get in the way of what we are doing to your children. I have just this one example. It's a TikTok video, so I'm not going to generalize about it, but it does express, I wouldn't play it except for the fact that it does express a lot of what these teachers are saying.
So I see how you think that you've done something here, because parents or community members have voiced concern to their elected official, which is how that process works. Not bringing it to a teacher, right? They're taking it to the elected official. And now that legislators are trying to implement these things. But still, in fact, a parent, not my boss. I don't actually answer to them, so get bent.
Get bent. And there's that fascist smile. They all have it. All the fascist women have that smile. What is that smile? I mean, it's like, yes, get bent. You don't own me. Your parents are not my boss. They all have that same lunatic smile. Just the appearance of that smile should get you fired at this point. I mean, just that's the fascist smile. Get out of my school. But this is a big story, and it is a big story not just politically, but culturally. It's a big story politically because I think it presages a tidal wave that is coming at the polls in November. Obviously, things can change, things can go wrong, but right this minute, I mean, you heard Henry Olsen on the show, and I've spoken to Henry, and he says, they are in a big, big pit, and it doesn't look like they're going to be digging their way out anytime soon. They keep saying they are, but it doesn't look like it, and they're lying about things, and everybody knows they're lying. Everybody can see what they are. They're kind of dialing everything back. But it's a big story culturally, too, because it's about moms. And I know I drive this point home, but it is the point. It is what we are seeing in the same way in Ukraine, with the Russians invading Ukraine. We're seeing the wages of the Green New Deal. We are seeing the wages of feminism with these schools. Remember, these teachers who are saying, you have no right to affect our curriculum. They're not teaching reading, writing, and arithmetic, where a teacher might say, well, as a parent, you really might not know algebra. You really might not know how to parse a sentence. I've got to be able to teach them how to parse a sentence, even though you can't do it. That would be one thing. They're teaching them values. They're teaching them ugly values. And the moms came home. Remember when this COVID thing started and people started going home, moms came home, something like 3 times more moms came home to take care of the kids, right? Somebody had to take care of the kids because suddenly the kids were home. And this meant that the moms were home with their kids, and if the kids were learning online, they were seeing it with their own eyes, what was happening to the children. If the kids were in San Francisco and they weren't getting anything, they saw these kids playing video games 15 hours a day. They saw it with their own eyes. And I said this in a British interview, and somebody tweeted, are you saying that a working mother can't pay attention to their kids' education? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that when a mother is at home, specifically a mom is at home, you have unleashed the beast. Why do you think they want you out of your homes? Why do you think it is when they say, women have to be treated better in the workplace? They always say, well, we need daycare. We need daycare in the workplace. We need childcare. They never say what we need is better pay for their husbands so they can stay home and take care of their children, because the children are the country and they're taking care of them. The mothering of them is the most important job in the country, right? Instead, they say, oh, she's just a homemaker, just a homemaker. Yeah, just a homemaker, because she's shaping the souls and the bodies of the people who are going to take over the country. And they want to do that. And you can see what it is they're doing. And you can see, what they're teaching them. And it's horrible. This is the thing. The lie that the left tells is they say, oh, you're burning books because you won't let us teach critical race theory. Now you're censoring us because you won't let us teach critical race theory. No, absolutely not. This is not a battle between censorship and freedom. This is a battle between their values and our values, and their values suck. That's the difference. Education is always going to be about inculcating values in the young, right? And we want to inculcate freedom, free thought, freedom of opinion, how to think, how to find information, history of the country, good and bad. I'm all for that. I was taught that 100 years ago. I was taught the good and bad about the country, but I was also taught to love my country, which I think is a natural thing and something all children want to do. They're teaching them that their bodies do not determine their sex, which is a lie. They're teaching them that their whiteness makes them wicked, which is a lie, and a racist lie, and a sick anti-creation lie. It's a horrible thing. We are talking about values. Somebody's values are going to win in this in our school systems. Is it going to be mom's values, or is it going to be these lunatics with their fascist smiles? So there's all that stuff, and then of course there's the masks that have done nothing but damage these children, that cut them off from each other's faces. I mean, it's a tragedy. It is a tragedy, and it's wicked what they're doing to the children. And now you can see, as November starts to loom in the in the windshield, you can see them. They're saying they're taking away these mask mandates, but don't be fooled, because Rochelle Walensky, who runs the CDC, she said the quiet part out loud. This is what she said.
We are assessing the most important factors based on where we are in the pandemic, and will soon put guidance in place that is relevant and encourages prevention measures when they are most needed to protect public health and our hospitals. We want to give people a break from things like mask wearing when these metrics are better, and then have the ability to reach for them again should things worsen.
Should things worsen like after November? If things worsen after November, the masks come right back on. The masks haven't worked. They haven't done anything. Nothing they've done has done anything except the vaccines. The vaccines have kept people from being killed. They've kept people from dying, according to the best figures. Those are the best figures. Doctors are studying this around the world. I mean, I keep saying this, and I'll say it to anybody. Doctors are studying this around the world. They're not sure of the entire effects of the vaccines. If they're not sure, you shouldn't be sure. But the best numbers that they have right now show that it has had a huge effect on fatalities. And I think that's an important fact, So aside from that, aside from Trump's vaccine, Operation Warp Speed vaccine, they haven't done anything. They haven't accomplished anything except damage small businesses, transfer wealth to the biggest businesses, and do incredible harm to our children, okay? So again, what we're arguing about is not free speech. It is not censorship. We're saying their values stink. You know, in Arizona, they're debating a bill to ban CRT, critical race theory, which teaches that there's something essential. There's nothing essential about your body. You can have a penis, but you're a girl. You can have a vagina, but you're a boy. All that's, that's not essential. But if your epidermis happens to be brown or white, oh my gosh, that is, your whole personality is written out right there. That you can never get away from. In Arizona, this guy, and I love his name. His name is Walt Blackman. He's actually a black man named Walt Blackman. And he got up and he started talking. He's a Republican. He got up in the Arizona State Senate and he just unloaded on CRT and this critical race theory. And here's what he said.
If we want to talk about racism, we need to really talk about it. If we want to talk about oppression of a people, let's really talk about that. Let's talk about the 1,300 black babies that are aborted every single day. But nobody wants to have those types of discussions. We want to talk about CRT and make us feel good about things. There are more black babies aborted than they are born. But we're not talking about that. We want to talk about CRT. There are some real issues going on in black communities. And the very people that want to push this are the ones who are killing us every day, or support those programs that are killing us. So if we want to have conversations about this type of stuff, let's talk about some real issues in the black community.
So you can't really lose hope when there are Americans like that guy. And he's willing to stand up and say what has to be said, and he's got the facts on his side, and he's got the truth on his side, more importantly. You can't just sit and stare at your lap and say the country is done, the country is finished, when he is there fighting the fight. I mean, you have to stand up. You got to be in it to win it. Despair, this is the thing about despair. It's not just a sin, it's also bad strategy. If you like what you see, subscribe and subscribe to the Andrew Klavan Show podcast wherever you get your podcasts.